Hey everyone, it's Natalie. So today I thought I would just kind of talk about how I got over the resentment, how the resentment happened, the bitterness, things like that in my relationship, because I keep reading in the comments how, you know, nobody can get over the resentment towards their husband, and I was there. I can tell you, I'm firsthand. I totally disconnected from my husband. I started being angry with him. I didn't want to be in the same room as him. I would find excuses not to be around him. And at the time, I didn't really realize that that had stemmed from the cycle of ABUSC that I was in with his parents. And I just thought, well, maybe maybe I shouldn't be with him anymore. Maybe our love is dying. And this, now looking back, I see that was the big plan of my narcissistic in-law. And I remember being in that moment that I was so angry with what was going on, that something inside of me was like, I'm not going to let her win. Like, I'm going to stick through this no matter how much I resent him, how much he's hurt me, how much she's hurt me, how much the whole family has hurt me. I'm going to prove them wrong. I am not this person they say I am. And that's just, that's just the type of person I am. I'm not really into horoscopes, but if you are, I am a Taurus, which is the bull. And you don't mess with the bull, baby. We got the horns, right? So I have that attitude where, I am a right fighter. I am a just fighter, and I am a very honest person, and I will do anything in my power to be honest and to do what's right in life. And I remember during this time that I was being a right fighter, I was very cold and distant to my husband because I had so much resentment towards him for not sticking up with me or for me. And at the time, this is whenever I was accusing my husband of having more than an emotional affair with his mom. I mean, it got so bad that in my thought process was so screwed up that I thought that my husband was having sex with his mother. And in many videos, I have talked about how I confronted my husband at the time we were just dating if that really did occur, because I was so convinced that he was his mother's lover, because he was allowing, in my eyes, I thought he was allowing his mother to mistreat me the way that she had, and his father. I mean, heck, on our prom, he wouldn't even come out of the living room to see us off to prom. Like, they were very cruel to me. I wasn't allowed at their house after a while. Just all kinds of stuff, right? So, going back to what I was saying, when I was in that moment that I was so confused at what was happening, and accusing him of unspeakable things. I think the reason why I was thinking so psychotic is because I was having growing resentment in my heart towards him. Because I could not get over the fact, how could my boyfriend allow this person to say these cruel things? How could my boyfriend believe anything that his narcissistic mother was saying about me? Because we were inseparable. I mean, we were together every single day. He's my first boyfriend. I married my first boyfriend, first kiss, everything, right? And I was thinking, how in the world, if I can see it so clearly that his mom is manipulating and being passive-aggressive and being cruel and is smearing me, how could he not see it? I could not understand it. And it wasn't until I went looking for answers did I understand the mind control that the narcissist has over their child. And so during this time, the growing resentment in me started to spoil the relationship because I started to despise him. And I was starting to get angry at him. And I saw myself not wanting to be around him, not wanting to kiss him, not wanting to have sex with him, not wanting to be in the same room with him. But at the same time, that right fighter within me kept saying, you know, get it together, Natalie, push through, push through. You know, this person's wrong about you. She's destroying your relationship. You can't allow this. Like, you know you love him. You know that this is just emotionally tolling on you, mentally and physically, and everything taking a toll on me. And because I already knew a lot about, like, you know, psychological issues and stuff, except narcissists. I didn't know about them. I knew that there was some kind of psychological aspect going on. I just couldn't put my finger on it. And so although, you know, I think the number one thing that goes away when you have resentment and you're not feeling protected by this person is that your love life suffers. And which brings me back to what I was saying about me asking him if he was, you know, having sex with his mom. Because I thought, I started thinking, oh, he is so disgusting. Like, I honestly thought that there was something going on between him and his mother. And I was growing repulsed by him. And so what happened was, I was like, that's it. Like, I can't take this anymore. I have to ask him the question. I asked him. Of course, he flipped out. And why would you ever say that, this and that? But then once I realized and I went searching, because the resentment started building so much that I was like, I've never felt like this towards anyone. Like, I started to have hate in my heart. And I was like, I've never felt like this towards anyone. I need to find the answer to this. Why am I growing hate in my heart towards this person that I supposedly loved? And when I ended up finding out about, you know, emotional incest, I mean, it was like a huge relief, because I was like, oh, that's it. And I think my point of making this video is that the more you understand what is going on with your partner, the less resentment you will have towards them, and the more sorrow and empathy you would have towards your partner, because they're a victim in this. And, you know, I get hate for saying that. But then I've read comments where actual men who are our partners, who have narcissistic mother-in-laws, say, bingo, Natalie, you're right. And I do feel like I need to advocate some way for these men, or maybe it's your girlfriend, or these women, because first off, a narcissist can make a narcissist. A narcissist can make a scapegoat. A narcissist can have a forgotten, or make a forgotten child. They make these children. Okay? And even if your partner, you come to find out, is the narcissist too, you have to have some sympathy for them, because they would have never turned out that way if they didn't have a narcissistic mother. Right? And so, even though they're pieces of crap, maybe you're divorcing them, whatever it is, they are a victim in this, unfortunately. And regardless if you want to agree with me or not, if you actually do the research like I have, then you will see that all of the children of a narcissist are victims. And unfortunately, because you start growing resentment in your heart towards your partner, you can't see that. And so a lot of these comments I'll see, well, I don't agree with you, Natalie. My partner treats me this way or that way. Yeah, maybe that is, but it's because they're brainwashed. Because they are a victim of the ABUSC. They have been conditioned to believe that this behavior is normal when it's not. Okay? So anyone that has been in a cult, like the Jim Jones cult, I mean, for crying out loud, they fed their children the Kool-Aid. Okay? Poison. They offed their very own children because they were so brainwashed. So, and these are people that they're not even Jim Jones children. These are people that just got into this religion as adults. So could you imagine how your partner is? They're literally in a narcissistic family cult since they were born. And this is why it's so hard to wake them up, because I mean, they don't know any different. This is the life they know. This is what they find normal. And people like us who didn't come from a home like that, we see it as bizarre, and we start thinking irrational thoughts about it because we can't figure out what's going on, which then in return the resentment comes. And I didn't want to resent my husband over his mother. I refused to, because I saw that I did, and I destroyed our relationship. And I said, I got to pick up these pieces. I don't want this. I really deep down in my soul love my husband, and I saw my future with him. I saw children with him. I saw a life retirement with him. And I told myself that I have to fix this if I want to keep it. And there's many things you have to do to keep it and to fix it. And it's going to be hard decisions, and you're going to do things that you don't think you have the strength for. You're going to be reading about all of this and researching it and trying to figure out your own life path. But my life path was, I knew deep in my heart what my future would be with him, because he's a good man. My husband is a good man. And maybe some of you guys don't have good men. Maybe the narcissist ruined their child so much that they're not a good man. But my husband is a good man. And remember, when I talk about him, he is a scapegoat. He has been emotionally beat down, and everything's been blamed on him. And he is such a generous, sweet person. And although he may have not stood up for me in the past, it was because he was scared. It wasn't that he didn't love me. He just didn't know how. Because I can't even explain to you the way that his parents treated him when he was a teenager and like in high school and college. Even out of college. They treated him like a little boy and talked to him like one, disciplined him like one, instead of treating him like a man. And so he still had that little boy mentality, which made him fearful of, you know, speaking the truth about how he felt about the situation with his parents and how I felt about the situation with his parents. He was too scared. He didn't know how. You know, it was always like, bad boy, it's his fault. You're the reason why we're in this mess. You know, just like on and on about why his family is falling apart because of me, because of his life choices, because he wanted to marry someone, right? So when I started understanding the bigger picture of what was going on with not only me, but with him, and especially with the narcissist, I understood that I was also creating a lot of the problems within this relationship, within this construct. And I didn't want to feel like I disliked my partner, or I didn't want resentment. And honestly, I've never even felt the way, like that resentment and bitterness that I had towards him, I've never felt in my life. It was a new feeling. And that's how I knew something was not right. And that's also how I knew that I needed to fix it. And so what I basically did was, when I had those feelings, I pushed through them. I did things I didn't want to do. I said things I didn't want to do. I behaved in ways that I didn't want to behave because I just wanted my old relationship back. And I knew that if I went back to the old Natalie, loving, caring, kind, holding my husband's hand, sitting on his lap, watching a movie together, all the things that we used to do that I quit doing because of the resentment, I would push myself to do those things to get back into, you know, a regimen of forgiveness and caring and loving and being kind and all of this, what we used to have, until I started growing bitter and cold. And you literally have to forgive your partner for what he does not know he's done to you. And maybe you need to have a serious talk with him. Maybe you need to, you know, open up about the resentment and just be honest. I think that's the big problem too, is that we're too scared to be honest with our partner about the resentment that we have towards them. It could be that you're ashamed, you're embarrassed, you're intimidated. It could be a million reasons, but sometimes just being blunt and honest with the other person can actually elevate your relationship to another level. Now, maybe your partner won't have a positive, maybe the conversation won't have a positive outcome, but being able to say what you want and tell the truth is where you need to start in forgiving and, you know, basically just stopping the resentment, because you're just going to keep having this resentment if you don't forgive. And maybe you're in the midst of your partner doing this to you right now, and it's like, how can I forgive him? How can I move past this? Sometimes you got to do things that you don't want to do for a better outcome. Because the outcome, if you don't do it, this is your outcome. This is the way you're going to live. So the choices are live like this in resentment and bitterness, or get divorced, or go ahead and forgive, grow stronger, and move on. Now, sometimes when your partner can't see what's happening to you and it feels like he's allowing it, there's just no strength within you to forgive. And I understand that because I was in that cycle for many years. And so maybe right now you don't have it in you, but you don't have to continue to grow the resentment that you have towards your husband. You can find other outlets to release that stress, to release that resentment in some other way than to target your husband over it. Maybe you need to see a counselor. Maybe you need medication. Maybe, I don't know. But these are things that you're going to have to come up with. Because with me, I know seeing a counselor helped. I know journaling helped. I know making these videos helped. And it just grew me. It grew me as a person, honestly. And so sometimes, even though you're angry and even though it seems like you will never get over this, if you push forward in a healthy way to basically forgive, see the situation your partner's in, see how he's living, understand why he's doing the things that he's doing, then you can come back around in that relationship and heal it. But if you're just going to stay angry and spiteful, then just leave. Because why live in that misery? If you're not healthy enough to, or strong enough to break free of the resentment, then you're doing a disservice to yourself, and you're definitely doing a disservice to your partner, even if you feel like they deserve it.